meets west as Birmingham Legion visits the Oakland Roots in what is a massive fixture for both. Birmingham already is locked up a playoff spot, but it's a home game they covet. Oakland, on the other hand, in dire need of 3 to keep their own hopes alive. From Laney College in Oakland, California, alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to be with you tonight for a broadcast presented by UCSF Health and UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. A reminder of where we sit right now in the table, from 5 on down to 10. A lot to untangle, and we could take a step in that direction tonight if the Roots pick up 3. Their recent form shows they might do just that.
2 wins in the last 3 certainly don't hurt, and especially the draw on the backside of that at Colorado Springs, where they probably should have gotten more out of that, to be fair. They've got a +3 goal differential, 2 shutouts in the last 6 games. My question is, Joe, is what does the evolution look like when it continues to go forward? Because it is not Noah Delgado's fault that the window of opportunity is smaller because of the sample size that we've seen, because Juan Guerra was just here longer prior to his departure to Phoenix Rising. So what does that sample look like so far? Goal differential, very similar. Points per game has started to up itself. The XG and the XGA, that's what you really want to take a look at here. It's really simple. When they move into the final third, they are producing more opportunities, and on the defensive front, they have flat out been better. 2 shutouts in the last 6. They only had 5 in the previous 26 games. Statistically, it's been better, but what can you do when it matters most, especially when 2 out of the last 3 against 2 of the best in the Eastern Conference?
On the other side, a much different story for Birmingham. They are looking to just solidify a home playoff game that eluded them last year after the COVID bout for Pittsburgh, and a big reason they're in this position, Enzo Martinez, as Devin takes us ahead of the curve.
When we break Enzo Martinez down, what you have to understand about him is this. There is a perception of inventiveness about him that also comes along with a bunch of deceit, and it's about timing for Enzo Martinez when he starts to move forward. Love his runs off the ball. Watch as he holds here. Slight hesitation on the back line. He understands that he's got a 2-yard gap. That little pause gets him into open space. Beautiful ball cut back across, defending or not. It's a great run. Now he's already set him up one time. Watch the peel on the backside here. He's held both defenders who are staring at the ball carrier. Enzo Martinez, once again, he pauses the run, peels into open space, and now watch the vision. The ball's actually a poor one because it's behind him, and yet his quality of play, a little bit of English on it, gets it to sit up, and they get a goal out of it. And then watch the backside again. Another poor ball by Agudelo played back across, but because you have the visionary that is Enzo Martinez, little touch back in, he's calm, he's caring, and he's quality in the final third. But this is what I want to know. We talked to Tom Sohn about it. They have been very good against teams in the top 5. They have been incredible against teams at the bottom of the table, but they've struggled with the teams right in the middle. Middle 5, teams 6 to 10. Can they find a way to get a result? Oakland Roots fall into that argument. They're 9th in the Western Conference. This is where Birmingham Legion have struggled most, and they're on the road.
Calendar has flipped to October, 2 weeks away from decision day in USL Championship, and tonight's result will go a long way into deciding plenty for both Birmingham and Oakland. It's coming up on ESPN+.
We are driven by a purpose to build healthy communities where everyone deserves a shot at fulfilling their dreams. A place where inclusion, acceptance, and equal opportunity are the norm. A town where all people have access to nutritious food, healthy lifestyles, and quality healthcare. Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots are breaking down barriers to ensure people stay nourished of the mind, body, and soul, all while having every opportunity to succeed. We welcome Oakland Soul to the town. Together, we will make the East Bay better for everyone.
I'm really excited to be a part of EBCE because of all the opportunities it'll offer me to save money.
I was surprised to find out that I could actually have a choice about where my energy comes from.
Thanks to EBCE, our kids are going to have a clean planet to live on when they're older.
I need the power to work in my studio. Of course, I'd love to be able to use more renewable energy.
We now have choices, and I'm happy to choose East Bay Community Energy as my source for local clean power.
I need to try it first.
Tonight's match is presented in part by Anthem Blue Cross. User testing, Credit Karma, UCSF Health, Coca-Cola, and Modelo. Take a look now at tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. No changes, Devin, for Noah Delgado from last game.
I'll combine both together. No changes for Birmingham Legion and Tom Stone either, but for Oakland Roots and Noah Delgado, just got to find a way, representation on the way. Can the third leading goal scorer, Notar Magnus Carlson, produce against one of the most stout back lines in the entire USL Championship, especially with Cronali and Kavita. Love the two of them in combination together. I want to see Bruno Lapa and Enzo Martinez take a game over. We've seen one or the other. Time to see both and see if this team has the championship quality caliber that Tom Stone and everybody else talks about, and if they can do it on the road.
Birmingham from right to left in the white, Oakland from left to right in the black. It's the final home game of the season for the Oakland Roots. They expect over 5,000 tonight, and they need this one for their playoff hopes. It's Oakland and Birmingham for the first time ever in USL Championship. With Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us tonight. Kickoff presented by User Testing, real-time feedback from real customers wherever you work. Visit usertesting.com to learn more. Tom Stone made no mistake about it. He knew this Oakland team would be able to feed off the energy of the crowd tonight. One common thread through last season and this season for the Roots, incredible fan support. And again, they're expecting over 5,000 tonight. We'll get you the number when it's official in half number 2. But tickets were on sale for over $100 on the resale market for this club, and it's easy to see why they're already looking and announced they're trying to break ground on a new stadium in the near future.
When are we starting to get kickbacks for some of those percentages? I mean, dear Lord, what this team has built there. You know, there's a word that's thrown around frivolously, the word like culture. Oakland Roots have no problem producing that every single year. Now as the results start to follow them. Remember, this is a team at the end of last season, started to get a little bit hot, produced one of the biggest upsets ever in the first round of the USL Championship playoffs, taking down #1 El Paso Locomotive. Can they find any sort of steam at the tail end of this campaign, not just to produce results, but to get themselves into a playoff position?
I think there are a lot of teams above that playoff line who don't necessarily want to see Oakland make it, knowing the talent they have.
Yeah, everybody in the Western Conference. Interesting that Tom Stone said that it's a little bit lopsided, right? Because they've loaded the results a little bit because they're all knocking each other off. So the point totals are a little bit higher in certain areas, but they're also a little bit lower, right? You can look at a team like Oakland Roots sitting on 41 points and, okay, yeah, they've got a lot more points than pretty much everybody else in the Eastern Conference, but it still doesn't get them into a playoff position. But that is those 6-point swings that the Eastern Conference manager is talking about. This is a team much like Sacramento Republic, much like San Antonio, which is easy because it's #1, a team that just finds a way to produce results, and they've certainly been able to do it over the past couple of matches.
Take a look at tonight's player to watch. No surprise, it's Notar Magnus Carlson leading the way this season in the goal department, brought to you by Hale Industries. He is the all-time club leading goal scorer for the Roots with his 17 this season. That encompasses the club's history in NISA before USL. And he's done it all in one fell swoop this year. Also, interestingly, wearing the captain's armband the last couple of games. That belonged exclusively to a few others early in the year. You look at Emra Clementa, Jose Hernandez a couple of times, Jojo Nane when he'd been out there. But he's asserted himself as a leader on this team, not just the target man up top. Here is Hernandez. A little bit too slow with it, but got it to Tariq Murad. Mafenka shoved off the ball by Aseadu. Already see the intensity between these two teams, both with so much to play for. Take a look at tonight's injury report, brought to you by UCSF Health and UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. Minimal, relatively speaking, for both on the list. And at this late stage of the season, that's what you like to see, and you hope it stays that way going into the final couple of games. Here's Asokar. Carlson, back for Asokar, who finds a way through for Mella. Chipped over the top, opportunity here. It's stopped by Van Oekel. Asokar didn't catch it cleanly, went for the toe poke as he read the ball out of the air, but first real chance.
All you can really say about the ball is it's cute. I mean, truly, watch the vision. Love the fact, cute little flick up over the top. And, you know, you said he doesn't catch it cleanly. It's also a level of difficulty because of the run. You're advanced so quickly with your speed, and you've got the trailing run coming back up over the top of Fanuel Kavita, who does a great job sliding over and applying the pressure. It's hard to then take it off the dominant foot and put it into the bottom corner, though if anyone could, you would expect the quality out of Asokar.
Asiadu on the turn, shoved off the ball cleanly. Well done working back by Charlie Dennis. Johnny Dean tracks it down. The flank's an area to watch in this one. Tom Sohn mentioned it. Asokar and Rito obviously love to bomb forward on the Oakland side, but Dean and Lopez get forward in their own right on the Birmingham side. Said when you have players like Rito and Asokar who get forward as often as they do, it means there's an empty space back in behind that you can exploit. And here is another lunge forward off the left side for Asokar. Barbier and Marlone going into it a little bit. Can you tell both these teams need this game for their respective races?
There's no love lost on the far side of the field. It's some kind of tackle by Danny Barbier. The follow through that Marlone does not like. And as the conversation ensues, how much malintent is actually there? The argument on the kick out right there is not far off. I mean, that's something that could get you into trouble with the wrong referee, and it's right in front of him, too.
Matthew Corrigan lenient for now. A half-hearted handshake between the two. And again, there is literally no history between these teams. First ever meeting between Birmingham and Oakland. So anything you see tonight as far as intensity, bad blood, it's all because of what's at stake. No prior history, no retaliations from previous games, none of the sort. Formella tries that chip again. Maybe not the best decision that time. Birmingham this season, 8 wins at home, 8 wins on the road. Tom Sohn believes the performances at times have been a little bit better on the road than at home, and he chalks that up to the fact that teams visiting Birmingham sit in deep and it's tough to break down. But when you're on the road, teams typically like to play an open, free-flowing style at home, which benefits Birmingham as this one squirts through for Carlson. Is shielded off well. And the whistle blows for a foul against Carlson. So on a night like this, Oakland playing open, playing free, Birmingham feels they could play through it.
Well, it's an interesting assessment, and while I fully agree with Tom Sohn, the other side of that argument is a lot of teams on the road try and sit in, right? Because they know that it's very difficult to go into a hostile environment, play their style, and especially with the discrepancy that you see in terms of all the stadium and size of fields, the pitches, there's not a ton of consistency. That's not a negative. There's just a lot of differences.
Here's Enzo Martinez with some space, slips it through, looking for Agudelo. Lapa, cleared by Dennis. Out to Marlone, but a foul called against Bruno Lapa.
Within that, you see a fluctuation of play. So you see plenty of teams that'll come to Birmingham. Yeah, I get it. Okay, maybe they sit in for sure. The other argument you can make is there's plenty of speed and quality on the front line of this team that you want to make sure that you're not allowing to get in behind you, right? Which obviously isn't the case so far right now, 10 minutes in, high flying. Oakland, they don't really care, do they? They know their identity, as do other teams, and Sohn mentioned that. He just said, there's no secrets anymore. Everybody knows what you're going to do, what the scout is. And I made this comment to you a couple of games back that when you go into a scouting report now, there's nothing groundbreaking anymore for the most part. Now, maybe there's some differences from dead ball situations, you know, set pieces, but other than that, all you need to do, which sounds simplistic in nature, is go out and perform. You've reached the point in the season where you just need to go out and play as best as humanly possible in order to get a result.
Another physical challenge at midfield. Dennis on the ground. And within that, Tom Sohn said this is maybe where the head coaches and the staffs earn their money a little bit, because it's the subtle changes you make within a game, noticing a weakness in the opponent, tweaking one minor thing here, just some tinkering to help put you over the top. So this is where that all comes into play. Long ball looking for Rito, brings it down brilliantly. Rito centers it. So many numbers behind the ball for Birmingham. Back out to Rito. Ormella lost it. Poor attempt at a clearance. Ricochets off of Martinez. Keeps the attack alive for the time being for Oakland. Lindo Mafeka has emerged recently, playing at his best when it matters most. We saw this from him last year until down the stretch. He suffered an injury that kept him out the last couple of games of the regular season and the postseason, growing into this season like he did the last. Asokar battling Dean. And a foul called against Asokar.
He's done nicely, Mafeka, to work himself into the rotation and really play this hybrid style. You know, you bring Charlie Dennis deeper as well within the midfield play. That advanced role from Charlie Dennis was something earlier on this season that we saw. I remember it was 2 goals and an assist in the first 4 to 5 games of the year. You're looking around going, where did this come from? All due respect from FC Tucson. And then it just sort of faded off a little bit, and they've always had the 1-9, and then there's been this fluctuation of, all right, we found a second one, we don't have a third. We get half performances out of both spots underneath the central location. But with the addition of Charlie Dennis into the deeper role next to Jose Hernandez and Lindo Mafeka, it does give you this fluctuation in the best of ways, Joe, where all of a sudden you can get that little pivot down underneath by Jose Hernandez, and as Charlie Dennis steps forward, you can create a 2-pronged attack in front of him because of the fact that Mafeka is going to drop in and feel more comfortable on the inside. And you know that Eduardo Rito is going to be the constant over that right shoulder, always making that run down into the channel.
Here is Rito again, working his way through. Rito is shielded off, and it's won cleanly by Mikey Lopez. Rito didn't think so. Thought a fistful of jersey is why that ball was won. The play continues. And transition the other way now for Legion. Marlon cuts it back. Zachary Harivo, who Tom Sohn raved about in our chat this week. Chip through to Marlon. Back again. And cleared by the Roots. The main praise on past years, firmly in this organization, never looking over the shoulder to a parent club trying to impress this or that. Focused squarely on Birmingham, having a lot of fun. And Sohn really talked it up this week.
He's still alive. He's going down with the ship. He's still there.
Circling back to that point about Carlson and the attack of the Roots, has that been their downfall at times this season, Devin, an over-reliance on those three, where if an opposition is able to keep Asokar, Rito relatively in check, they don't have another option to emerge?
Spot on. You hit the nail on the head, because there have been the 3 constants, right? It's the 2 wingbacks and then the 1-9. And then as soon as you step off from that, the wingbacks aren't going to produce the type of results that you would get out of Otar Magnus Carlson. Now, of course, Asokar, he's definitely bagged himself some goals, but I just look at the fact that they can't always be the people or the ones. You become one-dimensional, you're a lot easier to defend. And so what you're looking for right now is the maintained performances by Lindo Mafeka, the quality of performance we saw from Charlie Dennis earlier this year. Taxi.
They got those self-driving ones in the Bay Area.
Oh, I'm not involved in that. Yeah, that whole thing, roll up next to me. I'll take the next one. Cheers. Also, think about the backline as well with the Emerick Clemente coming out, right? All of a sudden, things look a lot different than they did 2 months ago. And then you start to get into the argument of the coaching change. There's a lot of fluctuation that's gone on within this team over really the last 2 months. that should have easily been, okay, you're done, you're out. You guys don't belong. And instead, they've ramped it up a notch.
Almost given away by Murad. We've seen that a couple of times tonight. Heavy touches along the back line that Birmingham nearly stole. Keep that in the back of your mind as this game goes along. See if that costs Oakland at some point. By the way, to finish that note up, 29 goals, 10 assists between those guys, those three. 29 goals, I'll say that again, and 10 assists between those three players if you add it all up.
A reminder, Oakland's only scored 40 on the year, so math checks out.
Not going to be easy to get it by Van Oekel tonight. What he's been able to do in this league, last couple of seasons especially. Team's defensive MVP last year, all-league second team, tied for 4th in clean sheets, 7th in saves, and he's up near those numbers again this year, tied for 5th in clean sheets, 4th in saves. Had himself quite the season. Director of goalkeeping as well, just out there playing it and teaching it to the players behind him in this club. Quarter of an hour gone here from Laney. Ball played through for Asokar. Asokar with the cutback looking for Carlson, overshoots it.
That's the type of ball, Joe, where I'd like to see the ball come square to the inside. I mean, it's a magnificent ball whipped in, but it's also very predictable, which is what we just talked about, right? You know that he's going to try and challenge you one-on-one, or it's that quick cutback across, trying to pick out the trailing run. That's where you're looking for more. Adam Mafeka coming back to the inside, which he was trailing, or a deep lying run from a Jose Hernandez or Charlie Dennis. Dennis was there. Now, the distance between them was about 20 yards, so hard to link up. But can you find a drop underneath from a Formella and try and find that combination play? That's where you start to get out of your comfort zone and you work away from some of the scouting report that has become so consistent, to Tom Stone's point. He said there's no secrets. That's one where you can give them a different look and catch them sleeping.
And Mafeka prefers that left foot, so if Asokar is able to come in from that left side and play it through to Mafeka, it's exactly where he wants it. Don't think this crowd has let up for 1 second through the first 16.5 minutes. Don't expect that to change unless Birmingham gives them a reason to quiet down a bit. Elsewhere at the moment, RGV losing to Louisville in the closing moments of that game, although that is still right around the time where RGV typically scores at home. HEB Park, where dreams go to die, is that the saying, Devin? So they've still got a few minutes to right that wrong, RGV, and salvage at least a point. But if that were to stay, a Louisville win, a win for Oakland would put them in 7th at night's end. Bear in mind, RGV has a game in hand, as does Monterey Bay, who plays tomorrow. But as it would stand, leader in the clubhouse for 7th place at the end of the night would be the Roots with a win. Flip side of that for Birmingham, in the live table, this point would bring them up to 3rd. Ball played through here and cleared by Kavita. Will put them on 56 points. That'd be 1 point ahead of Tampa Bay, who would have 2 games in hand. They also play tomorrow. And it would bring them 2 points clear of Detroit, who won tonight. Pittsburgh lost tonight, sitting on 53 points in 32 games. So Birmingham in a good spot to solidify a home playoff game. A win would really put that in hand. Here's Mafeka. Arcs it toward the top of the 6, cleared away by Cronali.
This is a little bit of a problem the Legion are dealing with right now. Not surprising. Enzo Martinez coming very narrow, but what's ended up happening is Acedo, as he starts to come to the outside, he's really been entrusted with, it's not a one-on-one mark overall, but he is matched up against Eduardo Rito. And Mikey Lopez, as he drops off, he's trying to help some of the numbers coming to the inside with Lino Mafeka, and so the mismatch is coming on the wings. That's a real good look at the bottom of the screen. That's one of your holding midfielders. So there's about a 15 or 20 yard gap between he and Zach Harivo. Finding a tiny bit of success. Mafeka operating within it. What ends up happening, Joe, is as one of these outside players starts to cut to the inside, you ask more questions because the communication starts to pass from one player to the next. And even though he cuts, You've still got the presence on the overlapping run, a high line for Tark Murad as he comes through. Rito maintains, and you pass off to the next guy, and then the next guy, and then eventually someone has to challenge it. You have to track the runner on your own as opposed to passing off possessionally.
Hernandez all alone out wide here for Asokar. Plenty of options in the box for Asokar. Goes at it alone, flares it toward the back post over everybody. Carlson making that darting run through the back post. Haven't gotten the ball into Carlson yet in a dangerous spot. 17 goals on the season, always dangerous.
This is that committal that I talked about. Look at number 3 center circle. That's Fanuel Kavita as he's come in. Notice the back post. If you're smart here and your head is up, this is where you've become too one-dimensional once again. Asokar, head up, look to the backside. You've got a 3v1 on the back stick. Whip this thing in, let one of your guys go up and make a play. Instead, head down, a little bit selfish in nature.
Rito has it blocked down. Dennis. Barbier gives it away carelessly. Here's Agudelo, great touch into space. Juan Agudelo closing in, still with it. Lost it at the last. Shot, save by Blanchett. No, it trickles in. Got the left hand to it. It bounded over, and Enzo Martinez has another one. 14 on the year.
This is all about the first touch, though, from Juan Agudelo. His vision in the 9 spot, he's already got his body in a positive position, and it's the first touch that continues the momentum and attack for the Birmingham Legion. Watch as he squares his hips. Great ball by Bruno Lapa. And as it comes back through, right there, little hesitation, recognizes the steps coming over to his right side, opens up his hips, gets it behind the back line. Expect better quality out of Agudelo in this situation. But there's the movement that I talked about. I don't care that it's off a redirect or a missed tackle or a deflection. The quality shines through once again for what has to be one of the USL Championship MVP nominees in Enzo Martinez.
$14 on the year, 58 in USL Championship to go with 37 assists. Coming into the year, he was 1 of 3 in the 40-30 club. Forget the 40-30 club. He is 2 goals and 3 assists away from a class of his own, the 60-40 club. We've grown so accustomed to seeing Blanchett make highlight reel saves this year. Thought he might have had that one again. Not to be. Got a piece of it off the redirect. And now it's Birmingham in control. Foul called against Agudelo. Hernandez finds Asokar. Asokar sends it ahead, looking for Mafeka. It's loose in front. Carlson, number 18. A quick response for the Roots.
What's interesting about this one is this the ball that we were looking for on the movement about 4 minutes prior when Asokar had 3 runners on the back post. Now he actually underhits it. It's not a great clearance, and it's in the worst of spots. Comes down underneath, an absolute no-no defending-wise, and he knows it. Behind Cronali, behind Kavita, just in front of Mikey Lopez. This clearance has to be high and away. Instead, it's low right down the middle in front of one of the most dangerous men in Ottar Magnus Carlsen.
Back and forth we go. Ahead to Marlon. Martinez looking for it and now cleared. That's a $510 donation to West Oakland Environmental Indicators Project, brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. WOEIP is a resident-led, community-based environmental justice organization dedicated to achieving healthy homes, jobs, and neighborhoods for all in West Oakland, California.
Finishes don't get much easier than that, do they? You got to feel for Mikey Lopez in this situation, because as a defender and you're tracking back across, you're trying to do whatever you can to make a play on the ball, right? So his momentum's dragging to the right. Because I'm already advancing my body in that position, your natural momentum is to lean towards it, right? Not to reach with your leg. It's for your body to continue forward, and Mikey Lopez just felt that he was going to give himself the best opportunity by leaving his feet, going to ground, but using his head.
Agudelo on the right foot, easily gobbled up by Blanchette.
The problem is within that conversation, if you go low, everything is aimed down, and the ball's already coming down, so you're both hitting your apex at the same point in time. Negative forces colliding. It's hard to come out on the positive side of that thing, which is why it doesn't pop up. Instead, it keeps low, drops right in front of the marksman that is Carlsen, and he makes him pay.
Here's Rito. You gotta check your PhD after that. We've got apex and negative forces in the same sentence, so physics lesson for everybody tonight.
It's math that we got to worry about, you know, which comes into physics as well.
There's a lot of math in physics.
Bingo.
That's why I didn't like physics.
I'm an angles guy.
Well, any angle you look at this one from, a quick response from the Roots. Martinez 21st, Carlsen 24th. Here we are in the 26th. Roots threatening again. Dennis comes up quickly on Van Oekel, and he grabs it.
Scrambling a little bit on the back line here. Fanuel Kavita just seems to be off tonight. He's out of position as he came back over. There's that interior move by Enzo Martinez that we talked about. Defensively, it does help him out here. Great positioning by Matt Van Oekel. Centrally located, easy enough to slide to the right or the left and collect it.
And that's one area where we maybe really have come to just chalk up Birmingham as one of the best in the league, not worrying about them scrambling at the back, giving up. Van Oekel less than a goal per game, and as a team really buttoned up defensively between Kavita and Cronali, even Lopez and Dean on the sides. You almost forget about that. And we asked Tom Sohn about the strength of this team. If this team wins a title, why is it? One of the areas he pointed to is that back line and the success they've had defensively this year.
They've also been consistent the entire year in that area. Now, it was kind of funny when I asked him who he admired around the league, right? And he didn't really go into the thought process of who could win it or anything like that, but he did talk about a game earlier this year where 3 games into the season, Colorado Springs came to town, and he goes, I walked out of that game going, yeah, we got a lot of work to do. Colorado Springs 2-0, it wasn't even close. That was part of one of the best starts in USL Championship history. They won 5 games on the bounce, 6 is the record. But defensively, they were quite stout. It's trying to find a way to replicate it on the other end. That has proved costly early on, and they've done a really good job of fighting their way back in. But 28 minutes into this game, they're just having some trouble. Communication's a little bit off. The spacing between Cronali, Kavita, and Mikey Lopez as well. A little bit of cause for concern, but the good news is the momentum is still there going the other way.
Here's Marlon, cuts it in front, deflected, saved by Blanchette. Scrambling again, Oakland. This time Blanchette keeps it out. Kavita reached out and touched that one. Chalk that one up to just natural instinct reaction, but
I like the fact that Johnny Dean doesn't force the issue here himself. He's got so much speed behind himself. He could easily try and challenge this over. Instead, good quality little checkup. Paul the Wall back in action.
here's a Siadu. East to west, slips it through. No trouble for Blanchette. Within that conversation about why Birmingham could win it all, the main pillar that Tom Sohn pointed to is their character and how they've battled back and handled difficult situations this year. They've risen to the occasion when it's mattered most. Knotted down by Cronally, back to Van Oekel. Someone pointed to an earlier stretch of the season where they beat New Mexico on the road after New Mexico was hot. They beat Phoenix while Phoenix was still hot. Memphis was on a 5-game winning streak. They beat Memphis, and by the way, they did it twice this season. Even if they've had dips in form, when they had that next big one on the schedule or that adversity, they rose to the occasion, and they'll have to do so again here. A half an hour in, hostile environment, squandering a lead just 3 minutes after they got it against a team battling for their playoff lives. This is, again, the true mark, possibly, of this team, if they are really a candidate to win it all.
They don't dwell, either. There has been an even-keeled nature about them where, yeah, everybody's going to drop games. That's an interesting tackle.
Enzo Martinez, apologetic, gives the thumbs up to the referee. Leno Mafeko wants no part of the apology.
This is a very dangerous foul. I'm very, very surprised that he doesn't pull a card here. And Enzo Martinez, he doesn't mean any malintent, but that doesn't mean it's not in the wrong. He comes from behind. It's not a scissor motion. But as he comes from behind here, watch the left leg almost wraps up against him. Great sportsmanship with Leno Mafeko. But this is what I'm talking about, right there. I have no problem if the card is brandished in this situation. To be fair, the referees also let them go, so not surprised that it hasn't been pulled either.
For as physical as this game has been, a half an hour into it, no cards brandished. Matthew Corrigan keeping it reined in with stern warnings with his voice rather than dipping into the cards and putting anybody at risk in such a big game. That doesn't mean those cards won't start coming, though. At some point, he'll dip into the pocket.
So, to your point, though, draw on the road against Atlanta, smash Charleston, beat Sac, lose at home to Tulsa. You're going what? Then it's 6-1, 1-0, 6-0, 1-0, then drop against Detroit. So it's these 3- and 4-game increments. Well, guess what? You get in the playoffs, you only got to win 4. That's all it matters about. The #1 overall seed only has to play 3, but everybody else, you win 4, and you can have your star.
They got Mafeko open. Didn't quite work out the way they hoped.
That's usually, by the way, you talk to any coach within this league, almost every single one will say to you, how many teams have won 4 this year? Now, this year, I've only gone back to 2015, so I apologize. There's a lot going on.
Come on, slacker.
I know, we're doing a lot of prep. But going back to 2015, this year is the most number of teams we've ever seen win at least 4 games in a row. Last year, going into the playoff race, there was only 6 that had done it. We were at 10 as of 2 weeks ago.
I'm curious, and I mean no disrespect to certain teams in the league, I'm curious how many of those are Eastern Conference teams with the cellar we've seen in the East this year. A lot of easy points to be had there. Not saying that's the case without having looked at this list that you've come up with. Through the middle, given away here. Good step by Mikey Lopez to win it. Now Asiadu has Martinez. Asiadu finds Martinez, lets it run by. Agudelo spins through, and it's cleared out for a corner.
Wanted him to hit this as he started to come back forward. Asiadu get it on that right foot. Look at the hips. The way that he squared up here, Tarek Murad. I mean, he's asking him to go to the byline, and I understand that, but almost closed himself off too much. You cut this thing back across, let it fly from distance. Why not?
Oakland has had trouble at times this year on set pieces. Better, as you illustrated top of the broadcast, Devin, in terms of conceding goals under Noah Delgado than they were under Juan Guerra. But at various points of the season, precious points were dropped on moments like this, letting their guard down on a set piece here or set piece there. "12 minutes ago, Birmingham found the opener. Now from the corner, Agudelo tries to flick it. I think he blocked it with his own left foot. Dean over the top, headed by Dennis. Carlson dropping in, battling Haribo. Finds a way through. And now all the way back to Van Oekel. Louisville final on the road against RGV, a 1-0 victory for Louisville. Massive for Oakland. So now as it stands, with a victory tonight, Oakland would take control of 7th place and that last playoff spot going into tomorrow. Agudelo. Ten to play on a brisk night in Oakland here in half number 1. With Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you along tonight on ESPN+. Laney, the site, final home game of the year for the Roots. We await the final tally, but expecting a sellout of over 5,000, standing room only. Cleared all the way out for another corner by Mafeka.
That's great. Great tackle by Mikey Lopez in the one-on-one defending. It's one of the most difficult things to do in open field, especially with the speed of Eduardo Rito bearing down on you. And there's just a bullseye on your back if you're Mikey Lopez after giving up the goal and you've got no coverage in behind you. Really well done to step up and show his confidence as a defender.
27th start of the season. Regular on that consistent back line for Birmingham. Former 14th overall pick of SKC going back to 2013. Don't think we've had a corner or a set piece tonight that didn't have a prelude from Matthew Corrigan, making sure everybody's playing nice. And now we're ready to the back post. Still alive, Haribo centers it. Cornali tried to flick it. That is a center back. Marlone, a second crack at it. Lapa looking long, nobody home.
That one's gonna leave a mark.
Fuenmayor still struggling to keep his feet.
He's trying to hold down his dinner.
I mean, there's no hiding in a situation like that. Everybody knows what just happened. You just gotta try to walk it off as quickly as you can.
I'm not walking anywhere. Lay down. I want to drop and cough, just not in the manner in which we've all become accustomed to in the medical industry.
Rito for Mafeka. Dennis steps. Here's Barbier. Asiyadu has acres of space. Good first touch as well. Asiyadu has a go of it. Stopped by Blanchette. Wow. You wanted Asiyadu to have a crack at it a few moments ago. He heard your advice, and he almost pulled off the goal of the month on October 1st.
It's even further from distance, but the respect being given, and he said, okay, fine. You want to give me all this space? I'll do it. Tarek Morad, last time, showed him way too much of the end line. This time, doesn't know which way to go. 6s and 7s on the back line. He does catch a tiny deflection, but there's a ton of movement on that ball. You can't strike it any truer than that if you're Anderson Asiyadu.
As a defender, you've got the scouting report. He's playing in there as a number 10. He doesn't really have many goals this season or in his career. 2 goals this year, 3 goals in 99 USL Championship appearances. But a reminder, you do still have to show him some respect, but you can't leave him open entirely.
What's interesting is the way that they're using him, though. If you watch Enzo Martinez, he's pinching inside, just tucking underneath. Juan Agudelo, Bruno Lapa is sitting either next to Enzo or going into a higher role on the right-hand side because Marlon has come deeper to help out. So Asiadu just sprints out to the left. I mean, on a regular basis, you're looking at 10, 15, sometimes 20 yards in terms of distance between he and his running mate, Zach Harivo, on the inside. They're allowing him on the attacking side to maintain that high presence because he's coming both ways and they're fine with it. Good look at your bottom of your screen right now. Nowhere to be found. He's dropped off, keeping the game, and then all of a sudden, as he comes up here, he's still got coverage behind. Harivo pinches over and grabs Linda Mafeka, and you've still got Mikey Lopez and Fanuel Kavita in a 2v1 against Eduardo Rito. It's really good defending. The question is where the runs are going to coming from, and can you pass as quickly as you want?
Membership for the 2023 Roots season now available. Secure yours today and receive exclusive benefits like early entry on game days and discounts on Roots merchandise. Call 510-488-1144 or visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets for more info. And it's an organization growing as well. Oakland Roots SC welcomes their women's team, Oakland Soul, a USLW League team now accepting membership deposits. Place yours today at oaklandsoulsc.com. The growth of the Roots hasn't been without hiccups. They've been through a couple of head coaches. They had the much vilified issue last year with the field, getting things going against Sacramento in the opener. But through it all, they have grown very quickly. The women's team, this crowd looking at a new stadium in the future. The sellout tonight for the final home game. Again, speed bumps along the way, but they've handled it, and they have exactly what you want, I'd say, out of a USL Championship team. They have a loyal and rabid fan base, and they made the playoffs last year. They're on the brink of it this year. They're putting it all together. Lapa through. Johnny Dean on the run. It'll be a throw for Birmingham. Down in the corner, just saved before it was out for a corner. Mafeka got it a bit further away, but not far enough. Here's Asiadu. Now Harivo playing through for Marlon, contact in the area. Play on.
Really wish he wouldn't pulled out of this. It's a great ball by Zach Harivo. The arm's up in front of him, but how much contact is there really? Marlon leans into it a little bit. The question is when you get into those one-on-ones against Azakar, he's got so much speed, and then the physicality behind him, Joe, 9 times out of 10, he's gonna win that battle. So you wonder if the attacker pulls up out of it trying to get the better of the referee.
Kavita, Martinez.
Look at the big switches on, if you can get it over.
Harivo looking that way, might be a little too late. Finds Lopez. Now Asiadu wide on the left again, as you mentioned, Devin. Inside to Harivo. Pace slowing a little bit in the dying moments of half number 1. After 40 minutes of just back and forth action.
This is where the difference between the two teams is going to start to show up, because there's a quality in terms of overall possession that's going to side with Birmingham Legion. They're a lot more comfortable in these tight-knit spaces than the Roots are.
Asiadu lays it off for Harivo. Now Lapa. Bernali over the top, good ball, played inside, the header goalward, saved by Blanchette, not much on the header.
44th minute.
Final minute now of half number one, plus whatever stoppage time has in store. Patience to the build of Birmingham. No hurry. Agudelo. Possession still sides with Oakland to the tune of 55-45, but it's these stretches here where Birmingham could just swing that rather quickly. Beyond the 45 now, no official word on stoppage time from the fourth official. Played through up the right side, Marlone on the ground in front when Mayor can't get it fully clear.
That is.
And there's the halftime whistle. Oh, Birmingham's not gonna like that.
That is weak at best. Great step here by Mikey Lopez, and the ball that pops out right at the top of the box. I feel for the comments coming from the sideline in Tom's zone. He didn't agree. They got it going against the run of play. Oakland fought right back in, but I'll tell you what, right now, this Legion team is growing into this game. They're being very comfortable, giving you a lot of looks and questions to be asked. For a team that operates primarily in transition, they've got to figure out a different way, the Oakland Roots, to break this team down in the second half. They do not have the luxury of space, and certainly time is of the essence, trying to chase down everybody in front of them in the Western Conference.
Well, these teams have never met before, and they can't meet in the postseason unless it's in the final, but this one certainly has that playoff feel to it. Birmingham took the lead in the 21st. Oakland responded 3 minutes later. It's a party atmosphere in Oakland in the final home game of the season, but will they be celebrating at the night's end? It's 1-1 through 45 between Oakland and Birmingham.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
So what if Jenny has a new car that plugs in like a vacuum? You have you. Yeah, you. You create your own karma. You, who endured this to save on rent. You, who upcycled your prom suit for your first job interview and still nailed it. You, who went the extra mile to earn extra cash. Now you have Credit Karma, the money app where your hard work can pay off with a new credit card, a new home, or even a new car. And wait till Jenny sees this. Whoa there. Create your own karma with Credit Karma.
I need to try it first.
It says Julie is waiting with my order. I'm just gonna go in.
We've got to work on the tracking. Oh, good luck.
Take the entire journey with your customer with user testing.
So, was the baguette fresh?
It was spicy.
And the ghost pepper rub?
Empty.
Keep ingredients separate? Here.
Get a taste of your customer's world with user testing.
Halftime brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. It's 1-1 between Oakland and Birmingham, but a larger look at USL Championship right now because there are some players and teams on the brink of some really big milestones and records, single season records we're talking here. And it starts with a record that you kind of like as a goalkeeper, but as a team, it means you're not really protecting him. Ben Lunt nearing the saves record, only had 6 against Sacramento on Wednesday. This getting pretty close.
And the record's 130, so he needs carry the 124 over the final 3 games. He needs an average of 8, and to your point, he's probably going to get there. And you don't want it to be, but you get 6 against Sacramento Republic on Wednesday and their upset victory. Give it to him. He's a great goalkeeper. He just struggled at the beginning of the year, but as he's been called upon as the season has gone on, he has certainly stepped up to the plate and knocked it out of the park. One of the best in the USL Championship. Unfortunately for him, the goals against average not in the fun column. However, saves right there could be setting a league record.
With some of the games in which he's come under fire, 24, that's 2 games maybe, depending.
Yeah, I mean,
it's rough sometimes.
He's got 3 to do it, including 1 tonight, and they're currently doing battle against Red Bull too, so who knows the way that offense is going.
I'm going to say he'll do it. Now, we're chasing the home wins record here between San Diego and Louisville. Both have a crack at it a couple of games away.
And the difference is for Louisville, they're sitting on 11. They've got 2 home games remaining. San Diego are on 12. They have 1. They can tie the home wins record. They can't get it on their own, but they can certainly get to 13. Look, it's saves record. It's the home wins record for 2 teams. It's not too shabby. Not everything is about San Antonio. Trust me. Look, but then again,
I mean,
yeah, everything's about San Antonio.
Alan Marcina, overachiever much. I mean, look at all the records that San Antonio can possibly get to this season. And the list just goes on and on. If there's a record you can think of and name it, they have a chance at it.
It's so great that we already had to change the graphic once tonight because they were on 70 points. They've got 73. They were on 22. They are now on 23. They can go to 79 points. They can go to 25 wins. They can go to 19 shutouts. I mean, look, it just keeps going on and on and on. Now, they can tie the road wins record because they've got 2 out of the 3 remaining at home. This team has the ability to go down as one of the best in USL Championship history. The difference is they officially cemented themselves as the #1 overall seed tonight. We haven't seen the #1 overall seed take down the overall title since New York Red Bull 2 did it in 2016. Reminder, by the way, that the Golden Boot race is Milanowski. He is now on 22 goals. He needs 3 goals in the final 2 games in order to tie the record set by Cameron Lancaster, equaled by Haji Berry last season.
We have a Birmingham game here. You mentioned Orange County. San Antonio at Birmingham, home Orange County. Are they getting those records?
No.
No, I say yes. We'll find out as the season goes along. 2 weeks to go, and we've got 1 half here between Oakland and Birmingham. More to come on the Anthem Halftime Show.
I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
Goes topics. I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
If Damian Lillard accepted his spot at the end of the bench, he never would have been at the rec center before it opened. If he listened to those who overlooked him, he never would have heard his name called as a first-round pick. And if he let 6 all-star selections go to his head, he never would have had the heart to give back to the streets that shaped him. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Unbelievable! What a goal! What a moment! The ultimate upset when it mattered the most!
Halftime between Oakland and Birmingham, 1-1 between the two. We take a look around USL Championship now with some news and notes as the calendar has made its way into October. USL playoff presented by Hisense. Race still hot in the East for the top two. In the West, right now you've got the couple of teams battling for position around the playoff line, including Oakland in this game here, 1-1 at the break. And with that, we show you the out-of-town scores. Brought to you by Visit Oakland, FC Tulsa 4, Indy 11-2. The big one, San Antonio 1-0 over Pittsburgh. Elsewhere, anything else particularly stand out to you?
The NA. Freaks me out a little bit. That, of course, is Loudoun United, who were dispatched 4-0 by Detroit City. You know, it's just so many weird results around the league. I'm done trying to figure it out. Let's just go to the postseason, have a little fun, and call it a day.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
You can wait. You waited this long. It's been, what, 9 months? You can wait 2 more weeks.
I might as well.
Might as well.
It's not like I get paid to talk about and know what I'm saying.
Fair enough. A couple of games on Sunday as well. Monterey Bay and Tampa Bay. That was the one pushed by the hurricane. Of course, thoughts with everybody on the west coast and central portion of Florida that was impacted by Hurricane Ian this week. That game is played now tomorrow, and that has massive ramifications on both of these teams, with Oakland in the battle for the 7th seed and Tampa Bay battling Birmingham for the home playoff game in the Eastern Conference. The party continues right now at Laney College. They are ready for half number 2, and it's moments away on ESPN+.
So what if Jenny has a new car that plugs in like a vacuum? You have you. Yeah, you. You create your own karma. You, who endured this to save on rent. You, who upcycled your prom suit for your first job interview and still nailed it. You, who went the extra mile to earn extra cash. Now you have Credit Karma, the money app where your hard work can pay off with a new credit card, a new home, or even a new car. And wait till Jenny sees this. Whoa there. Create your own karma with Credit Karma.
We are driven by a purpose to build healthy communities where everyone deserves a shot at fulfilling their dreams. A place where inclusion, acceptance, and equal opportunity are the norm. A town where all people have access to nutritious food, healthy lifestyles, and quality healthcare. Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots are breaking down barriers to ensure people stay nourished of the mind, body, and soul, all while having every opportunity to succeed. We welcome Oakland Soul to the town. Together, we will make the East Bay better for everyone.
When we think about the benefits of East Bay Community Energy, we think about cleaner air, good jobs, lower costs.
Good morning, welcome everyone.
The Scott Haggerty Wind Energy Center gives us a tangible example of how clean energy can deliver local benefits.
There is something wonderful about being part of this historic moment.
We are delivering cleaner, greener, cheaper energy. It's an investment in our future.
You're sharing our vision of providing power for Alameda County residents.
Tonight's match is presented in part by Anthem Blue Cross, User Testing, Credit Karma, UCSF Health, Coca-Cola, and Modelo. A look now at highlights from half number 1, brought to you by UCSF Health. Goal scoring started in the 21st minute from Enzo Martinez.
This was just all about momentum because it was actually going the other direction. They were having trouble because the game was so wide open. Tom Stone talked about the fact that that usually benefits them, but they were struggling in transition. So against the run of play, there's a little deflection that comes off the touch by Agudelo. Great first touch by him, but it's the follow-up by Enzo Martinez that sees his 14th goal of the season and Birmingham Legion's first of the night.
That lead did not last very long at all on the Birmingham side, all of 3 minutes.
Yeah, the little cut back across. Now remember, about 2 minutes prior, it was actually just before the goal happened, we wanted this ball to the back post. Instead, Azakar took it in solo, went 1v1. He had all the runners on the backside. This time, he's got Lino Mafeka, The bad news is that Mikey Lopez has a poor clearance. If you're going to head this, you got to find a way to head it up and away. Instead, puts it right in the path of the marksman Otar Magnus Carlson, who gets them back to even. It then started to lean towards Birmingham Legion. They got a lot more comfortable on the ball. The way that they set up Anderson Acedo on the left-hand side is allowing Enzo Martinez and Bruno Lapa to dictate more of the tempo of play, getting Marlon involved, Johnny Dean getting higher on the right-hand side. I like the way they look going into the dressing room. Does that momentum now carry over into the second half? Because the conversation by Noah Delgado is going to be exactly that. Guys, we got to find the balance. We have to be able to maintain our own up-tempo on one side while making sure we solidify ourselves defensively on the other.
And the way they went into the locker room makes it weird to see that possession number in Oakland's favor. Underway now in half number 2. Oakland from right to left in the black, and Birmingham from left to right in the all-white, in total control of the last few minutes of half number 1. Can they keep that going into half number 2 and pick up a road win that would put them in terrific position to get a home playoff game? Birmingham, remember, last year was supposed to have that home playoff game. Pittsburgh had the COVID issues. Game was not played. Birmingham advanced in the next round, and they really want to get that this year, knowing what it means to the area and to the growth of the game in Birmingham. We asked Tom Stone about it, why they want it so much, aside from the competitive reasons, having a home playoff game, playing against a lower seed, still a very strong Eastern Conference. But last year, having that home playoff game lined up and not being able to play it left a sour taste. We know we have a core group of loyal fans, Tom Stone says, and the best way to continue the growth of that fan base is by hosting a playoff game, more eyeballs in a big spot. And a corner on the way now for Birmingham to try and restore what was a lead they held for only 3 minutes back in half number 1. And it was taken quickly and disastrously out for a goal kick. We'll scrap that one from the training ground or spend more time on it. When Mayor long for Mafeka. Tried to weave his way beyond Harivo and knocked out for a throw. Barbier has it come over his shoulder. Able to keep it alive, just barely striding up the left side. And the way we saw Birmingham possess to end half number 1 is the way we're seeing Oakland possess to begin half number 2. Patience in the build, waiting to pick the right moment. Barbier back for Blanchette, who's worked so much on playing with his feet this year. That time gives it away. Well read by Johnny Dean. Enzo Martinez lays it off. Acedo for Lapa. Now the pendulum swings back to Birmingham on the ball. Cycle back through Harivo. Seen some physical battles between Harivo and Dennis tonight already. Certainly a different start than we saw to half number 1. We saw both teams end-to-end with opportunities flying. Ended up yielding goals 21 and 24 minutes in. First for Birmingham, then for Oakland. As some other results have become clear around the league, the importance of tonight's game is evident. A win for Oakland. They end the night in 7th place above the playoff line, although RGV has a game in hand, and Monterey Bay does as well. They play their game in hand tomorrow against Tampa Bay. And for Birmingham, a win would help solidify 3rd place for them at the moment. They'd be on 58 points through 32 games, 3 points clear of Tampa Bay, who would have 2 games in hand, but more importantly, 4 points clear of Detroit on the same number of games. So whether it's the 3 or the 4 seed, a win tonight puts Birmingham in terrific position for a home playoff game.
Joe, let's turn the conversation here for a second. I'm curious, big picture. The way that I look at the Western Conference right now, let's get rid of the top 4. And I'm not saying let's get rid of them because they've all qualified. I say it because I've seen enough quality out of those teams to recognize the fact that they should have a place booked in the postseason already. If you work from New Mexico all the way down to LA Galaxy 2, who do you like and why? Because I've heard a great statement by Mike Watts about this argument.
Those words probably tasted horrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. God love him. No, that's our guy, of course. But no, the way that he phrased it was perfect. He said, when picking these teams, and I'll let you know who they were in a second, he said, I don't trust the other ones. And he was right.
I'll give you that in a second. Lapa trying to find a way through to Martinez. Now Harivo brings it back underneath. Harivo, test plan Chet. It's out for a corner. We'll come back to that in a second. I probably need a few more seconds to pick my teams anyway, so give us a replay analysis instead.
Well, it's just the tiki-taka stuff that I talked about in the first half that is capable of this Birmingham Legion team. Remember, you can compact the field against them. They can also play wide open, but as you bring it into a much more constricted field, you're almost playing right into their hands. The quality of player that they have will take it. 5 yards from each other, 2 yards from each other, they don't care. So you want to open the field up and let them run at you, that's fine. But it'll easily be 1-2 touch soccer between Bruno Lapa, Enzo Martinez, Zach Harivo, all of them more than capable of getting the job done in tight-knit spaces.
You ready?
Bring it to me.
El Paso, RGV, Monterey Bay are my 3.
So what's funny is I said the exact same 3, and so did Mike Watts.
All right.
Can't trust anybody else.
Especially right now. This is my favorite exercise personally. I don't know what yours is, maybe curls, you're looking good, but on this side right now in the Western Conference, you look at the panels on the right side of the standings website. There's those red, gray, or green tiles for your last 5 games. I see no green for New Mexico. I see very little green for Las Vegas. Oakland, I don't know if I can trust, but I know that Monterey Bay is well coached. I see 3 of the last 4 green for El Paso. I see 4 of the last 5 green for RGV, with the lone exception being Louisville. So those are the 3 teams I trust the most. El Paso, RGV, and then Monterey Bay.
New Mexico United are 1-6-3 in their last 10 games, and that team is sitting in 5th place in the Western Conference.
Not great.
1 win in your last 10 games. 30% of your season has only seen 3 points once.
To be fair, you can bump that argument up to Colorado Springs, but they've already clinched. They're in a similar tailspin with injuries.
Yeah, the difference is Colorado Springs has shown me that they could be the best team in the league.
Correct.
I've never seen that out of New Mexico United. And I'm not picking on New Mexico. I could pick on other teams in the West as well. We're just using one example there, right?
Johnny, we're short, one in the back.
Did Rito have to concede the corner there? Another set-piece opportunity for Birmingham. Seemed like he had time with a shout from a teammate to clear that out for a throw-in instead. Delivery from Marlon, not the best, but he'll have a second crack at it. Marlone again, better service this time. But it's Carlson there at the near post to head it away. And that attack now goes by the wayside for Birmingham. Roots fans, check all the latest merch for Oakland Roots and Oakland Soul by visiting shopoaklandrootssc.com. Minutes into half number 2, a significantly slower pace than we saw first 20-25 minutes of half number 1. Formella. Now Rito unable to get it back to Dennis. Haribo.
Excellent recovery by Zach Haribo. I'll give him this, Zach Haribo. One of the things that I do enjoy about his game is his peripheral vision, because he's so comfortable within the midfield as well as on the back line. The defensive escapades that were just one-on-one tracking back show you the center back pairing that can be if they want to drop him in and use him in that fashion, or just line him up on the back line in general. And yet he's got an understanding of the spacing around him. He's quick, he's efficient. Real good example of why Thompson loves him so much on the inside.
And with Haribo and Sohn, that love affair goes back a while, from the time that Sohn spent as an assistant with New England Revolution while Haribo was in that organization. There's a reason he tried a couple of times to bring him in on loan and finally brought him in permanently. And Formella thought that Oakland should have a corner there. Van Oekel remaining limber. And gets us back on our way. Carlson looks left for Asokar. Formella. We're at a point where this game needs a jolt from the bench from either coach, where it's just been a dozen minutes of not much here in half number 2.
Want me to take it down there?
It's not as physical as it was either. It just seems everything has dropped down a notch. You talked about the intensity of the play. Just some of the tackles, not as fleet of foot, the ball movement. Although I will say the sequence right around the 54-minute mark for Birmingham Legion, very impressive.
Thompson, 3 points to goal. So badly want that home playoff game this year. Be full circle if it happened to be against Pittsburgh again, the game that didn't happen last year. It's possible that happens, but a lot to sort through still. In terms of the Eastern Conference jockeying for seeding, we've known the teams now for a couple of weeks.
You have. I told you who was going to be in the playoffs in March. Didn't necessarily know the order, but knew the teams. Albeit maybe the argument for 7th.
I don't think a lot of us knew Detroit. Was that the one maybe that was a little bit different? Played through here from Martinez. On the take, Agudelo spinning the other way now to the backside, and out of play for an Oakland throw. You, Mike, and I got together, and I think that was it, right? It was
so our argument, we all thought Indy was going to be in.
Indy, or
and
yeah.
we said Indy would be in. The argument would be for Tulsa, Miami, or Detroit, who was going to be in the 7th spot. You're allowed a mulligan. We all got one wrong.
We all did. Trying to think back who else we thought was in the discussion now that did not at all turn out to be in that discussion.
I tell you, I picked the Western Conference champion to be Phoenix Rising. How'd that work out?
Not great. I picked Orange County, so it's worse for me.
Yeah, just by the hair of your chinny chin chin, it's close.
Let that be a lesson to us, not to expect anything.
I could make it worse if you want me to.
Go for it.
My MVP was Santi Moar. God love him. Everybody has an off day. Everybody has an off year.
I can't remember who I made my MVP now.
But I'm happy to be wrong and have it be someone like Enzo Martinez or a back-to-back in Haji Berry. Although, if the rumors are true, we're not going to be seeing him very much longer.
Can we please give it, if not now, when, for someone like Mitch Tainer?
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I have no problem. Here's my thing about it. There are a ton of people who have thrown their name in the hat this year. There's no clear-cut favorite. There are a couple of guys who, no matter what, you're going to have a solid argument for or against, right?
Absolutely. Let's see you do. Can he get Martinez another goal? He was camped out waiting for a ball that never came. I just feel right, wrong, or indifferent historically in this league and other leagues. Golden Boot almost synonymous with MVP, just because if you're scoring that much for your team, you're that valuable to your team. If there was ever a year to give the MVP to somebody under the radar like a Tainer for all he does defensively, or to a player like Martinez, who is just kind of flown under the radar on a team that has flown under the radar all season long, you're never going to have another year like this where the Golden Boot winner, in all likelihood, is in last place in the Western Conference.
Any argument whatsoever for someone like Philip Goodrum? Does he creep in there at all? Aaron Malloy and the assists that he's brought in, he's extremely valuable to the success of that team. The goalkeeping position, Jordan Farr.
You can make the case for a number of players.
That's what I'm saying.
Antonio alone.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's no clear cut like, okay, Cameron Lancaster, 25 regular season, 26 overall, team won the title. Okay, game, set, match. Good touch.
Formella.
There's been some excellent defending here tonight. Open spaces, especially from the guys from Birmingham Legion. This is the argument we talk about. I said coming in, one of the best in the league. You're getting a real good look at why. The track back, Johnny Dean, Mikey Lopez's counterpart a couple of times tonight have been isolated and have stepped right up into it.
Asidu might have had a free run up the left side, if not for Murad getting his head to that on the ball from Martinez. Oakland getting ready to make a change. Next opportunity they get. Mikael Janssen is who we're hearing. There was a time this season where Mikael Janssen was a set-it-and-forget-it starter on this team. Coaching shift happens. And since then, it's been more Mafeka. Flag was coming up on Asokar anyway. Van Okel scoops it. Neither a really bad option to have. Both bring something a little bit different. Janssen, maybe a better relationship with Carlson. Both have been used in that spot underneath. Dennis trying to bend it around to Carlson, gets it to where it needs to go. But Carlson forced to the corner by Kavita, finds Formella over to the back post. Mafeka left it, still loose now for Rito, hits it across, shouts of handball. And it's just a corner.
Wanted this ball cut back across sooner, and whether or not it hits the hand is a whole nother argument as he goes to ground. Great ball down into the channel, but watch the runs on the backside as the touch comes out in front. It's a great job in the hold-up play, but as you come back across, Hit it now. Cut it back across now. There's no reason for the touch out in front.
Murad had a chance on the corner. Came off of his back and went out to the wing, and a free kick now for Oakland. Can they do something from the wide service? "20 minutes into the second half. Seeing a few more glimpses at the intensity and the speed at which the first half was largely played. It took a little while to get there, but we're finally here. Free kick played in and cleared by Birmingham. Rito tried to play it off of Mikey Lopez and on another corner. Hernandez first to it. Rito again pushing end line. This time he does earn another corner. Corner powered by East Bay Community Energy, providing green power at low rates. Visit ebce.org to find out more. And on this corner, looks like we're going to have the changes from Oakland. Fourth official is preparing the LED board. Was ready to flash it up. And now it seems like we'll take the corner first. It's Janssen and Memo Diaz getting ready. Corner curled in to the hands of Van Oekel. It's Prosper Kasim also up and ready now for Birmingham. So we're about to see 3 changes, 2 on the Oakland side, 1 on the Legion side. Martinez. Lapa almost hit Cronali in the back there, ends up all the way back for Van Oekel. Asokar feeds Formella, continues his run centrally. Another great bit of defending by Johnny Dean, and he continues his run defensively to now harass Barbier. Incredible work from Dean, and now it's won by Birmingham. Lapa looking to thread the needle for Martinez, not there. Nafeka puts it into space, lets Rito run onto it. Rito, another corner now for Oakland. Will we finally see the subs? Diaz and Janssen have been waiting now for about 3.5 minutes. Looks like we're gonna hold off still.
I will definitely let you know when the board's going on.
Rito drops it back.
Hit it.
He does. Weaker foot puts it wide.
What's going on?
There's more of an intensity, though, right now from Oakland, trying to attack the game a little bit, and you're hoping that the substitutes can provide a bit more clarity, because the offensive front has not been kind here in the second half.
Mafeka and Formella off, Diaz and Janssen on. Substitutions powered by East Bay Community Energy, providing green power at low rates. Visit ebce.org to find out more. And this is where things get interesting, to see what Memo Diaz exactly does. We talked to Noah Delgado about it this week. At times we've seen Asokar and Rito flip to the same side as an overload. At times we've seen Diaz play with either Rito or Asokar, just some combination of those three. It gives them an overload on one side and allows either Asokar or Rito to play further up the field while Diaz sits a bit. Looks for now like it'll be a battery of Diaz and Asokar on the left side with Rito and Janssen on the right. Here's Rito. Janssen earns another corner for Oakland. They've been living in the corners these last few minutes, but haven't come close to making any of them count. Prosper Kasim still waiting to check in for Birmingham. From the corner, headed away again by Birmingham. Diaz lays it across. Hernandez chips it back in. Got it away. Only as far as Diaz over the head now of Carlson. Sadiq Bolarabi as well getting ready now for Birmingham.
Uh-oh, broken ball.
You know, I thought we were going to get a yellow card in this game for as much as we've seen physically. The first one being for time wasting on Van Oekel there. The way that Matthew Corrigan was jogging in, I was actually delighted to see that it was just a ball issue. So Lapa and Marlon off. Sadiq Bolarabi and Prosper Kasim in. Had I told you 5 minutes into this game with the intensity we saw that we'd be 70 minutes into this game without a single card shown, you would have told me I was an idiot.
I expect someone to be sent off already. That's the way the game started, right? I will say sometimes, though, conversations in the dressing room and when you start to come through the tunnel, the referee gives you the wink, the blink, and the nod, like, okay, that was that. This is going to change a little bit now. Usually that comes with some sort of precedent being set, but we didn't have to see that. The players are sort of policing themselves here in the second half.
Well, Arby slips it through for Agudelo. Martinez sliding through. Didn't miss it by much.
And I told you coming in, the vision and the tempo at which Enzo Martinez is able to play with, his decision making, what he's been able to replicate over and over again. Great step by Dennis.
Plenty of space and options. Dennis. Ferrito leaves it instead for Janssen. Cleared by Cronali. What changes in these two changes we saw from Birmingham?
Well, the idea would be that you're able to stretch the game a little bit more up top. Sadiq is a player that, well, let's back up here. It's a position that they've been looking to try and chase down really the entire year. All due respect to Juan Agudelo. He's come on and started to give them a glimpse of what they need in the 9 spot, but you know, over the past couple of seasons, they really haven't had an out-and-out number 9. It's that simple. Even with J.J. Williams being here, you know, Prosper Kasim has been in it. Nico Brett was here for a hot minute, but he's not an out-and-out 9. Like the way that he drops down in and plays really as a false 9 most of the time. So the idea is that bringing him in, they've been happy with him. Now, he continues to make progress, but the idea is you got to find more interplay within him because you know he can stretch the game. And again, not being one-dimensional is what you're looking for overall. Prosper Kasim gives you the quality on either side of that. He can stretch the game on the outside, dead ball situations. He's good enough in the air. Just kind of punch back a little bit here as some of the momentum has started to swing back towards Oakland.
Blanchette has it. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of USL Championship. Shoes that you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select League's Choice, Player's Choice. So Janssen picked up the first yellow of the game. It was a matter of time. And now Rito has Hasselkar with the early ball if he wants it. Another terrific defensive display. Knocking that one out for the corner by Mikey Lopez. Fifth corner of the second half alone for Oakland. They're 0 for 4 in creating anything dangerous from the previous 4.
Just watch some of the movement at the penalty mark, though. There was a lot of space open the last time they stepped up here in the back post run. They didn't get it there, but the way that the rotation came, there was a ton of space on.
In the middle here, it falls for Carlson. Almost caught him by surprise. Let's see you do. Fuller Arby. Rito looking around for a call. Play on. Here's Dennis. Nodded back here for Fuenmayor, who was lingering in the area after he took a knock. That's why the center back is still far up the field. Hasselkar. Puts it out wide. Ball in toward the back post. Headed away by a diving Dean and kept in. Memberships for 2023 Roots season tickets now available. Secure your membership today and receive exclusive benefits like early entry on game day and discounts on Roots merchandise. Call 510-488-1144 or visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets for more info. Inside of a quarter of an hour remaining, plus stoppage time here at Laney College with Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have had you along all evening on ESPN+. Is there one final twist in the tail between these two? Oakland needing the game desperately. A win would put them above the playoff line for the time being. They don't control destiny. They'd be the leaders in the clubhouse at the end of the evening here on Saturday, October the 1st. Birmingham, they're already in the postseason. It's a matter of sorting out now. Are you the 3? Are you the 4? Are you the 5? Do you get a home playoff game? Do you not? A win would go a long way in solidifying that. Far from clinching it, but it'd be in a much better standing with 3 tonight instead of 1.
The backside of that conversation is something that's been a real point of emphasis, though, for this organization, for Jay Heaps and for Tom Stone. They've wanted a home playoff game since their inception back in 2019.
Carlson.
Just the way that results fell out. Of course, there was the COVID issue last year with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They were supposed to get one. That's a mistake. Finally feel like they're on the precipice of having the opportunity to do so. I asked Stone, I said, is there any part of you, of course you want to win every game, finish as high as possible, but is there any part of you that wants the opportunity in that 4v5 matchup to take on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds? He said, I'd be lying if I said no. So it's right there. You got to be better in your decision-making down the stretch, situations like that. If you want the opportunity to either finish 4th or even higher, don't give the opposition a reason to linger around. That's what Enzo Martinez has just done, because there's tons of players on this Oakland team with quality within them that could easily step in and have a strike from distance.
We've seen Carlson score a couple of direct free kicks this year. This one's a bit further out of reach. Is it a service from Dennis, or is he feeling himself tonight? It is a service, not a great one. All the way back for Blanchette. A name I don't think we've really called here in half number 2. One shot on target for Birmingham. To be fair, on the other side, haven't really called Van Oekel's name No shots on target for Oakland in half number 2. First half saw 5 Oakland shots, 3 on target. 7 Birmingham shots, 5 on target. 2 combined shots, 1 on target in the second half.
Given the way that this season's gone, would you be surprised if this ended 1-1?
I'd be more surprised if it did end 1-1.
Really?
Yeah.
Not me.
No?
At the tail end of the year, it just seems like, and this isn't just these 2 teams, let's be clear, but to the point of our conversation earlier, no one wants it in the West.
If there's one team to do it, it's an Oakland team that has had a flair for the late dramatic all season long.
I'd throw my money on RGV, but fair enough. 4 wins in a row, it'd be hard to bet against them, of course. Didn't necessarily go their way tonight, did it?
No.
Their dreams partially died.
It's opposing teams' dreams. It's a caveat to that. Dennis toward the back post. It was loose for the taking for Asokar. Never went for it, but it's a corner.
Does he lose it here? I'm trying to figure out why he pulls out of this opportunity. He's wide open.
I think he thought someone was better suited behind him, but there wasn't anybody. It was him and him alone. Yet another corner in this half for Oakland. 6 of them. Whipped in by Dennis. Headed away by Agudelo. Driven back in off the volley. Clipped by Janssen and cleared. Janssen has a hit off of Carlson. Where would that have ended up without the block? Janssen. Head by Hernandez. Fuenmayor, can he keep it in? Yes, in front. Was loose, and the ball did go over the line. Assistant referee just alerted Matthew Corrigan that Fuenmayor did not quite save it. It arced out of bounds, and a goal kick.
There's a good shot from Johnny Dean at the bottom of your screen. He's just asking everybody, uptick it a little bit. We need more rapidity in our play right now. It's just slow. Everybody's slow in the tackles, the chasing, even the decision making. When this ball comes to the back post, you can't clear it. Why is the secondary run that's right at the top of the 18 not being closed down? Because it's not one player. You're looking at 2, 3, and 4 options right there in black jerseys trailing right at the top of the box on the 50-50 ball coming back across.
Martinez splits the wickets of Charlie Dennis. Johnny Dean races ahead. Still Dean, waited a heartbeat too long to play inside for Bellarabi. Carlson dropping very deep, gets it out to Janssen. End to end we go now in the closing 10 minutes. Janssen looking for Carlson. Kavita out for another corner. Seven corners in the second half now for the Roots. Dennis goes short. Memo Diaz has it blocked. Dennis sends it in. Carlson directs it centrally. Loose for Asokar for a moment. Deflected by Janssen and cleared. They're making it interesting now. Getting the service into the area. Hoping something falls their way.
They just don't have the same constant pressure either, Birmingham Legion, from this front three.
Fuenmayor brings it down. Now Diaz over on the left side to the back post. It's open and it's in. Juan Asokar makes it 2-1 Oakland. In front of 5,509 strong at Laney. The Roots have life in the playoff race.
It's been coming The pressure has been mounting, and they've lost it up top. Agadello in the 9, or the false 9. Kasim has assumed the role in the central spots. The problem is the ball off the back line, it's really easy. As you take this back up over the top, what did I just say to you? Secondary runs. Memo Diaz wins that argument, and then you lose track of one of the most dangerous players in the field. Predictability is one thing. Quality and class is another. From Azakar on the back post. There's the 1-2 punch, the drift off the backside. Matt Van Oekel looking for a little bit of help. He gets none of it from the defenders on the back line. Azakar, and a fantastic finish that helps push them back into the playoff race.
8th of the season for Asokar, a $510 donation to West Oakland Environmental Indicators Project. WOEIP is a resident-led, community-based environmental justice organization dedicated to achieving healthy homes, jobs, and neighborhoods for all in West Oakland. Diaz, the substitute, on the assist. At this present moment, Oakland in 7th. It's been a little while since they've had their noses above that playoff line. Picking up 7 points in the last 9 has certainly helped the case. And they could make it 10 out of 12. Elsewhere in the playoff race, Phoenix rising 2, New York Red Bulls nothing. Rising up 2 goals and up a man. So they will likely pick up 3 points in their chase, albeit slim hopes for Phoenix.
There goes the save record. It's a good one not to be a part of in theory.
San Diego 2, Orange County 1 right now. San Diego on the road, possibly under 3 points.
This is the issue I'm having, though, with the little switch. Remember in the first half how Anderson Acedo was so wide on the left and shut down a lot of the movement, but still helped them stretch the game? They've brought him more to the right. I'm fine with that. But you've got to have some sort of help over there from Mikey Lopez, and everything has been down that right-hand flank. Think about how many times we've seen the ball rotate over there. Now, to be fair, the exterior itself, real good argument for Oakland Roots here in the second half, but specifically that right-hand side. Mikey Lopez has been hung out to dry plenty of times. There's a good look right now. Janssen just down underneath. You've also got the outside run of Rito. It's just very difficult to track everybody.
Can Oakland hold on to it? Does Birmingham have another one? Martinez pulls it. Already has one tonight, 14 on the season.
To the point, by the way, one of the fun little toys you and I get access to behind the scenes, this program called Opta, it breaks the attacking thirds down into threes. And so in the final third, 30 yards and in, left, middle, right, 50% of the attack right now for Oakland Roots coming down that right-hand flank, 33% coming on the left. The middle of the field is almost non-existent. They just use it as a springboard to get the attack going forward, doing a great job utilizing the width. And those pinches that we saw in the first half for Birmingham Legion, they were able to get away with it because they were on the ball more. And as you step on it, then you can start to pick from player to player how you're playing out of the back. As Tom Stone tries to make some changes, get some fresh blood, fresh legs, and chase this game a little bit. Need at least the 1 point. But all this space on the outside has left them exposed, and they've had to pay.
Matthew Corcoran, Jake Roof, Mateo Bunbury, all in. Agadello has come off. Lopez has come off. And Asiadu has come off. Jojo Nane now in the match for Juan Asokar, the hero at the moment for the Roots. So a counter in the change from Oakland after seeing the three just made by Birmingham.
There's not a standing ovation for the shift that this man put in. That's some kind of player. He's going to be a hot commodity for any manager. Come postseason time, they get an opportunity to get him after the completion of the 2022 campaign.
3 minutes added on to the end of this one. Next up for Oakland, trips to Hartford and Pittsburgh. A weird schedule quirk. They end the season with 3 games all against Eastern Conference teams rather. So no chance to impact with 6-point swings against other Western Conference teams in their vicinity. The next 2 Saturdays at Hartford, at Pittsburgh. Also factor in a pair of trips to the East Coast and back again.
There's a ball.
Slotted through here, chance to equalize, stopped by Blanchette. On the other side, Birmingham finishes with 2 at home. San Antonio and Indy. San Antonio Sunday the 9th, Indy Wednesday the 12th. So Birmingham could put the pressure on the teams around them in the chase for a 3, 4, or 5 seed. They'll be sitting home down on the 12th with decision day on the 15th. Now Rito out and Clementa in to help see this through, the extra center back. Free kick on the way for Birmingham, 90 seconds to play. Van Oekel joins the fray as well. Alex Cronalia, a big target to hit here. It's up to Enzo Martinez to supply it. Prosper Kasim lurking as the short option with a lot of space, top of the box. Oakland almost conceding that 10 to 15 yard space for Kasim. We'll see if they add time for this. It's been about 45 seconds we've been stopped since the free kick was called. By the time it's taken, figure about a minute extra has trickled off the clock. While Enzo Martinez has sat there bobbing back and forth ready for the whistle. Here we go. Martinez, here it is for Kasim. Poor first touch. Kasim gets it back into Martinez, loose for a moment, and Blanchette is there. They were giving Kasim all that space. Crowd sensing perhaps a final whistle. Will it come here? Not yet. Maybe one last chance now. Johnny Dean looking ahead. A glance at the watch from Corrigan. Here's Corcoran. Kasim. Has to be the last chance now for Birmingham. Can they make it count? Bunbury out to Martinez. Martinez plays it in. Header centrally. Murad clears. Final whistle blows. At the end of the night, Oakland Roots above the playoff line in 7th. They close their 2022 home slate in front of 5,509 fans with a bang, a 2-1 win over Birmingham. Juan Azocar, the man of the hour, the man of the match tonight. Brought to you by Ale Industries. The game-winning goal to put Oakland above the playoff line came in the 84th minute. The support of all his teammates, his 8th goal of the season, and it might be the most important one to date. Crowd loving every second of this here at Laney.
It was the narrowest of margins, wasn't it, Joe? Everything was just such a fine line that you had to walk tonight. You asked for somebody else to step up. We got a little bit of that, but guess what? It came back to one of the three aforementioned. Was it Rito? Was it Carlson? No. The answer tonight was Juan Azocar. But would there be an opportunity for Birmingham Legion to get back into it, saving the game? I mean, I was with you. How much space are you going to give them? It's a bad ball played back across. It's an even poorer touch by Prosper Kasim, and then Enzo Martinez. For all the greatness that was, all you needed was a little bit of good, and instead, the little slip costs him. He knows it. Touch back across would have gotten them an opportunity for the game-tying goal. Instead, your game winner by Azocar.
Birmingham had a chance tonight to really take a stranglehold of a possible home playoff game. Instead, it's the Oakland Roots on the other side with a much-needed 3 points. Right now, above the playoff line. Still have some work to do going into the final 2 weeks. He'd rather be the leader in the clubhouse. Newport owner G-Eazy loved every second of it. It wasn't easy, but the Roots come out on top. We wrap it up from Laney in just a moment.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
If Philly Garcia didn't have the fighting spirit to drive his ambition, he never would have left home for LA with only his car to sleep in. If he listened to those who rejected him, he never would have sold that car to pay for his dream. And if he lacked the will to improve his craft, he never would have made a name for himself, lining up some of the biggest names in pro sports. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Party still going on here at Laney College. Roots win this one by a 2-1 scoreline, and they brought it down to the end as they have so often this season. A look now at the full-time highlights. There were goals in the first half, one each side, a couple of minutes apart. Second half a lot slower, but it picked up toward the end.
Well, I'd actually say that the visitors probably felt better about themselves within the overall run of play in the first half. Obviously, to get the first goal, and it was against the run of play, interestingly enough. It's the ball in transition. Agudelo with a great first touch in front. He tries to cut it back across, but a good closure defensively on the track back by Tarek Morad. As he cuts back to the inside, you leave the outside exposed. Now, you can't be upset at him about that because you're going towards the most dangerous player, but Enzo Martinez just laying and waiting off that left. Good first touch, better second touch. They get the goal. They're out front 1-0. The response is immediate. It's actually just under 3 minutes later, and the ball coming in. This is one thing that you have to tip your hat to Azocar, because the first time when he tries to play this ball back across, he doesn't even give it a thought. He's extremely selfish. He shouldn't have been. That is the one knock on the game that you could be against Azocar, but he picks it up right the second time. So does Carlson. He gets his 18th of the season, and we're off and running again. So it's 1-1, back and forth, and back and forth. The closure of the first half was 100% the visitors, but it's the way that you finish. And this team in the final 25 minutes of the game took off with a vengeance. How's the vision by Memo Diaz, who replaces Azocar in that left wing back spot, repays the favor on the ball back up, and the quality that usually and almost certainly is from the Venezuelan rises bright once again for the game-winning goal and the 2-1 victory and a much-earned 3 points.
Shots on target, possession goals, not much separated these teams tonight.
No, you look at the XG, it's .62 to .75, it's 10 to 10, it's 4 to 7. You know, possession, total passes, everything is right there. Slim margins in games like this are what separate the good from the great. It was the goal that they got in the first half where Mikey Lopez should have cleared it in a different manner. You can't blame him for leaving his feet, but that gives them the opportunity. And how about the communication or lack thereof between the two center backs, and the ball whipped back into the center spot where Azakar finishes off for the game-winning goal.
A look at the standings. I shortchanged Oakland before, pardon me. I said they were in 7th. They do have the tiebreaker on El Paso. So until El Paso plays its next game with the game in hand, it is Oakland actually in 6th at the end of the night, and RGV on the outside looking in. But most importantly, that left column right now, El Paso, RGV, Monterey Bay, all games in hand on Oakland.
El Paso Locomotive doesn't do battle until Wednesday, and they will host Colorado Springs. So until then, there's plenty to think about. You can plant that seed of doubt. Oakland most assuredly has done that. And for Birmingham Legion, still holding on tight in that number 4 position. The one thing that you have to think about for most of these teams coming down the stretch, much like the West, they're all playing each other. The schedule is not easy. It only gets more difficult. I do not envy anybody with the final few games remaining.
Well, Birmingham has a chance to secure a home playoff game with their next 2 games at home. Oakland goes on the road to the East Coast for the next 2 against Hartford and Pittsburgh. That does it for us tonight. Final home game of the season for the Oakland Roots. G-Eazy on hand to perform for the crowd, and the team performed as well. They have picked up now 10 points of the last 12, and they're in a playoff spot at the end of the night. My broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, and the crew that makes this possible, I'm Joe Malva saying good night from Oakland, where the Roots took down Birmingham 2-1 in tight playoff races right now in the East and the West. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.